Hey, welcome back to ArchiHacks. Today we're going to talk about finding internship opportunities. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite tips for landing your dream job. In the past, I've worked at several different companies like Big and OMA, and I want to share most effective tips and tricks I've picked up over the years. And by the end of this video, you'll be an expert at job finding and you'll be able to maximize your chance of getting into the companies that you've been dreaming of. So this video is divided into 4 major sections. First, we're going to talk about the most important part of job application process, which is portfolio. And that includes things like how to order your projects, how to create online portfolio super quickly as well. Second of all, we're going to talk about resume. Resume is another big part of your application process, maybe not as important, but there are some tips. And the third section is going to be about utilizing different connections. So this is not only about finding jobs online, but also channels through which you should be applying for your jobs. And last of all is going to be competitions that I've actually gotten explicit feedbacks about from companies like Big and OMA, and they were really impressed by this one aspect about my application. So the first thing I want to talk about is portfolio. It's probably the biggest thing about your job application. There are tons of portfolio review videos on our channel, so you can check that out as well. Today I want to talk specifically about 2 things. One is ordering your projects in the correct order so that you don't lose interest from whoever that's reviewing your application. And second, we're going to talk about online portfolios. My favorite approach for ordering your portfolio project is by starting with the most interesting, intriguing, eye-grabbing project. This really shows off your character and really hooks in the readers. You have to make it so that the readers are going to continue to read your portfolio. And if you put like best foot forward in the beginning, you lose the readers. And if they don't get through the first project, they're not going to get to the rest of your portfolio. So make sure to start with stunning project, and then we'll transition into more regular academic or professional projects. What I'd like to do towards the end is to transition your projects into something more practical. So if you have images of constructed projects, this is a place to put it. Maybe some screenshots of CAD drawings, Revit models. In a lot of beginners portfolio or even experienced portfolios, I see personal works there, and that comes in the forms of like photography, paintings, or other kinds of fine art. I think majority of the times I don't really recommend this. Now this is a little bit controversial, but I found that they are not too professional sometimes, especially when the work is not the most impressive one. Now, let's say you have a very impressive skills in a certain area that could become a really good conversation starter, but most of the times students put in some really mediocre works and they're just a waste of space. Now, PDF portfolios have been the de facto standard in the industry, but increasingly firms are looking to get online portfolios. Obviously, we're not web developers, and that's why we created Archive. Archive is a place where students can easily upload their projects and get themselves known. And cool feature that we added recently is that once you upload all your projects, you can click generate portfolio button under your profile, and it'll create a beautiful landing page with all your projects laid out in a professional way. All you have to do is simply share the link with your prospective employers and they'll be able to see your latest work. If you want to update it, everything is done in real time. You can just go back to your profile and update your projects. There's no hassle of creating multiple versions of PDF. And this is all free to use right now, so make sure to go sign up and try it out and let us know what you think. But maybe the second most important thing is resume. Building a resume is quite straightforward. You just have to go ahead and find some template and fill out your information. I've seen some really crazy design resumes out there, but I like to stick to something a little bit more standard. This tends to be a little bit more professional and easier to read because there's a certain convention that people are used to, and once you get out of it, people might have trouble finding the right information. As you may have heard, people only have a couple seconds to skim through your resume, so you have to make sure your information is exactly where they expect it to be. Now, that being said, here are the 4 sections I usually put into my resume, and this is how it goes. So usually I'll start off with the skills section at the top to display that I'm relevant candidate for the role that they're seeking. And then second of all will be the experience. The reason I put experience on top of education is because this tends to be something that employers are looking for more than education. All candidates have education, but not all candidates have the relevant work experience. And that's why I like to put it second after skill. And third will be the education, relevant courses, and the degree that you're pursuing and things like that. And last of all will be the recommendations, especially if you can put in someone credible in the industry. If you have previous employers and if you have their permission to put them as reference, make sure to do that. And if you don't, you can also use professors as your reference as well, which is pretty common for entry-level architecture roles. And there is a specific section that I left out from resume, which is hobbies.
Emotional, damn it!
I've seen a lot of students put in hobbies because you don't have enough to put in resume, or maybe you think it adds more character to your application. But most of the times they are pretty irrelevant. So this is totally up to you. But if you are slowly running out of space and if you want to make resume look more professional, I recommend you removing hobbies. And number 3 is a channel through which you should be looking for your job. I know a lot of you guys might be looking through job postings. According to some research, I think employers don't really hire from that, which is a totally fine way to approach it. And I actually found many jobs like that as well. So I know that that method is effective. But if you want to get the most effective way to find your job, you should be utilizing these 2 methods. Number 1, going back to your previous employer. The fact that you have worked with someone proves you have track record with them and they have verified your work ethics. Probably the fastest and easiest way to land a job. But of course, you don't have a job, never had an experience, or you want to go to another company that you have been to. Then the second most effective approach will be getting a reference from someone who is already working there or who has worked there in the past. And the last channel the companies will be using to find candidates is through online. I'm not saying that the online approach is invalid or not effective at all, but if you have other means of approaching companies, then I recommend you reach out to that first. Fourth component that I really enjoy putting into is competition. I have actually gotten verbal feedback from people who have reviewed my application at both Big and OMA, and they were both impressed that I've entered so many competitions. And I believe this was especially more relevant for those companies because they enter many competitions. Now, competition goes to show many different things. It first shows that you're a self-starter, doing something that the school or employer is not forcing you to do. This also goes to show that you have a great work ethic. You're able to work effectively under pressure. In a professional environment, deadlines do happen quite frequently. Now, competition usually has a very tight deadlines, and this goes to show that you are able to handle those situations. And the last thing is that competition also goes to show that you're a great team player. Competitions can be entered on your own as well, but many competitions also allow teammates. And personally, I find that competitions are more enjoyable when you enter as a team, because in a professional world, everything is teamwork. Teamwork just within your organization, but also with consultants and external contacts. And I strongly believe that that is what made my application stand out from hundreds of applicants that these big companies get every day. Entering competitions can be a bit of a hassle. I know you have to carve out a time that already don't really exist, and you have to create a whole project, and this could be a lot of work. Now, this is why Archive is hosting student competition. This is a competition designed for students where you can enter your existing work that you have completed in any institution, and the entry fee can be discounted. You can get 50% off if you're a pro member. You can get another 50% if you refer 2 friends from your institutions. So you can virtually enter for free if you meet all these conditions. And that being said, we'll be giving out $3,000 in prize cash, and we hope to see some amazing work there. So if you want to check out the brief, check out the link in the description, and we'll see you there. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.